Today is Wednesday, September 4. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica, PCJ, has concluded that there was an oil seep in 2018. This, it says, was confirmed by testing done by two separate independent laboratories. This would be the island's third live oil seep. While the PCJ was quick to point out that the seep offers no commercial prospects, the discovery strengthens the emerging data, which shows that Jamaica has a working petroleum system, which is generating and expelling hydrocarbons to the surface. PCJ said in a statement yesterday that the discovery of this seep has moved the number of confirmed hydrocarbon seeps from one gas seep to a total of 5 oil and gas seeps, both on the offshore, in 2019. The country's most well-known gas seep was the Windsor gas seep, and it has been gently bubbling since the 1900s. PCJ said, adding that in a partnership with CGG Geoconsulting, it found 2 live oil seeps onshore in 2016. Following this, the first offshore live oil seep was discovered by Tullow Oil in February 2017, and then recently the PCJ identified an additional live oil seep onshore with the assistance of a citizen who contacted the corporation back in 2018 to investigate an oily substance found on her farm. There will soon be new flights out of South America and Russia to Jamaica. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett made the announcement as he hosted a press conference at the ministry's new Kingston offices on Tuesday. Mr. Bartlett said those and further expansion in the island's hotel room stock by more than 1,000 over the next 3 months are projected to result in an average 8 to 9% growth in stopover visitor arrivals. About the airlift arrangements, Mr. Bartlett said come December 2, LATAM Airlines will commence service between Lima, Peru and Montego Bay with 3 flights per week. Mr. Bartlett further advised that Russian airline Pbcj, which currently provides flights to Jamaica using 747 aircraft, will be utilizing bigger jets, which will increase the number of passengers traveling to Montego Bay to over 500 per trip. Jamaica Trade and Investment Promotions Agency, JAMPRO, will be leading a delegation of 6 companies to the Latin America and Caribbean Flavours Trade Exhibition in Cali, Colombia. The 3-day trade mission began on September 3, and JAMPRO says LAC Flavours is one of the key food and beverage business forums in the region, generating more than $990 million in transactions and 17,000 business meetings over the past 10 years. This year's participating companies from Jamaica, P.A. Benjamin, Jamaica Teas, Carita Jamaica, and Tijul Company Limited will have the opportunity to meet with global buyers at the event and create international business relationships. The Jamaica Business Development Corporation is aiming to attract 500 persons to the 2019 Employee Engagement Conference from October 16 to October 17. We have more in this report. The event will be staged at the Jamaica Conference Center in Kingston under the theme Employee Experience 3D Design, Develop, Deliver. Chief Executive Officer of the Jamaica Business Development Center, Valerie Vera, gave the update on the conference. She was speaking at a Jamaica Information Service think tank session on Tuesday. Ms. Vera said the engagement of employees was twinned with the success of companies.
As the environment becomes more competitive, and there are challenges, it is the onus is on the enterprises to really continuously be reviewing the kind of system that is operating within their establishments and how they can really bring the employees, especially that middle group, into the vision, working along with you on that boat. And the visual is always there for me of a canoe with 5 people. And having just 2 or even 1 punching the hole in the canoe, but how you can get the 4 to be moving forward. And I think that we're becoming conscious of that in Jamaica. And we are really hoping that the message will be that it can be a fake thing. You can't pretend to love your employees when your actions tell something else.
According to Assistant Manager in Project Management and Research Development at the JBDC, Sasha McCullough, attendees of the conference will access actionable insights into developing an employee experience.
So we'll be looking at employee experience 3D, design, develop, deliver, which is the theme of the event. Now, what we want to bring forward in this conference is the fact that it's not only about just engaging your employee, not just taking them out for lunch, for dinner, but it's what is the experience you're creating. So we're going to be looking at the culture. What does the culture of the organization look like? What does the physical space look like? What are the tools that your employees are working with, which is the technology? So those are the three main components that we'll be focusing on, which will definitely create a good experience for your employees.
The two-day conference will have more than 30 speakers, including 3 keynote speakers, Christine Comerford, Chris Gillette, and Alan Stein Jr. The workshops will focus on various topics, including employee engagement policy creation, health and wellness, and brain-based formula for emotional engagement. Jamaica will be playing its part in assisting hurricane-ravaged sections of Bahamas, and the Disaster Assistance Response Team is to be dispatched. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has been in contact with the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Hubert Minnis, who indicated that Bahamian officials are currently doing their assessment. Once the initial assessment is complete, Jamaica will be able to provide assistance. Prime Minister Holness has also offered condolences to the government and people of the Bahamas on the lives lost as a result of the catastrophic Category 5 Hurricane Dorian. The University of the West Indies, the UWI, says it's readying its tactical support to provide assistance to the Bahamas. A powerful Hurricane Dorian pummeled the northwest and central parts of the country. Vice-Chancellor Professor Sir Hilary Beckles says the UWI Disaster Risk Reduction Center, established back in 2005, will again work closely with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency to advise on and support the needs of Bahamas as necessary. Professor Beckles expressed on behalf of the UWI his deep sadness and concern for the people of the Bahamas and reiterated the university's commitment to regional colleagues and partners. The US dollar on Tuesday, September 3, ended trading at Jamaican $137.85, up by 13 cents. That's according to the Bank of Jamaica's daily foreign exchange trading summary. The Canadian dollar ended trading at Jamaican $103.39, down from $103.82, while the British pound sterling ended trading at Jamaican $165.99, down from $167.55. In regional news, Hurricane Dorian has shifted from the Bahamas and is making its way up the United States southeast coast. In its wake, it has left Tobacco and Grand Bahama Islands devastated. On Tuesday, National Security Minister Marvin Dames said there was a high probability that the previously reported death toll of 5 would go up. The details in this Guardian news report.
As the picture of Hurricane Dorian's path of destruction continues to get clearer, National Security Minister Marvin Dames says it is likely the death toll from the storm will increase from the 5 confirmed deaths. Dames made the statement after revealing that a few children were among the dead. This is Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands confirmed that kids were also among the 21 critically injured people evacuated from Abaco. The National Security Minister was candid in his comments as he said given the magnitude of destruction, the death toll from Dorian is bound to increase.
The chances that we find more persons, dead, those chances are real.
And that is
it's certainly a concern for us. This was a crisis of epic proportion, and for us to sit, we want to be responsible, we want to be caring, we want to, as we report these things, we're taking into account, this is the sensitivity around all of this.
Dorian tore through Abaco on Sunday as a powerful Category 5 storm. Residents are still feeling the effects of the storm on the island. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis has said 5 people were confirmed dead. When asked about those victims on Tuesday, Dames confirmed children were among the dead. However, he declined to say their ages.
Unfortunately, what we're getting, a few of them are children. But you know, we're at the beginning of this, and you know, this is a very unfortunate occurrence for us as a country. Maybe the worst that we would have experienced, certainly in our lifetime.
Dame says officials will not know the full extent of deaths until full rescue and recovery teams are on the ground. He says while hundreds of Defense Force and Police Force officers have been deployed, they will be sending in reinforcements. As those officers are sent in, those injured in Abaco are being evacuated. Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands says 21 people were evacuated by the U.S. Coast Guard on Monday. He said children as young as 7 years old received life-threatening injuries.
We have children as young as, I believe, 7, and persons that way up in their 60s or 70s. Some of those persons were admitted to Princess Margaret Hospital, others were admitted to Doctors Hospital.
As for the types of injuries being treated, Sands says they are serious.
Some with very, very serious injuries, some requiring emergency neurosurgery, brain surgery. We have had lacerations, partial amputations. We have had a number of broken bones. So a number of people have been injured. The most critically ill patients have already been evacuated. And we owe an incredible debt of gratitude to the people and the government of the United States of America.
CMC's Renee Sion spoke with Eyewitness News senior reporter Royston Jones, who is on the ground in Bahamas.
What is the latest update on the situation there right now?
Well, based on projections from meteorologists here, the outer bands are still impacting Grand Bahama significantly with tropical storm force winds. However, it has started to pick up in pace and is moving sort of northwestward. They're not out of the danger zone yet, but the conditions are improving, which offering some reprieve to residents who have been experiencing hurricane conditions, as you're well aware, since Sunday midday, well over 48 hours. That's a positive sign. There's still significant flooding based on aerial footage and photos we've seen. The Prime Minister of the Bahamas, as well as some of his government officials, as well as the U.S. Embassy in Nassau, did a flyover just this afternoon using the U.S. Coast Guard aircraft. Some of the photos we're seeing from that flyover are heart-wrenching. They're showing a ton of destruction. The island is a complete contrast to what we've seen of the pristine photos before. It is devastated, and that's an understatement.
Okay, you mentioned that the Prime Minister had an aerial tour. Did he return, and is there any new information that we can get from that?
The Prime Minister returned approximately 24 minutes ago, based on some of the reports we're seeing from the U.S. Embassy. There is an expectation to be updated at 8 p.m. at NEMA's command center here in New Providence. We'll get the latest information based on what they've seen, including any further reports, hopefully not, of casualties. As you might be aware, there are 5 deaths in Abaco so far. We've not confirmed the ages or gender of those victims or identity of those victims as yet. Hopefully there may be some more information coming from that. We've also confirmed via the medical emergency services that 24 medical evacuees have been brought to New Providence from Abaco. 11 of those people have been admitted to hospital. 3 of them are children. This is a very fluid situation, and information is rolling in very quickly. We're trying to compile it as best we can to push out accurate information. The Prime Minister is hopefully going to clarify some of those details for us this evening.
Okay. What is communication like with those affected islands?
Shoddy at best. Of course, the communications in Grand Bahama from the last report was 11 to 18 of 38 towers for one of the major telecommunications companies were still standing, which means parts of the island are still able to reach out, although with difficulty, to emergency command centers and family and loved ones in New Providence and elsewhere regionally and internationally. But for many, there's great difficulty in reaching those who haven't been heard from since yesterday and in some cases since Friday. Personally, I haven't heard from my cousin who's in Freeport since Friday afternoon, but I'm hoping for the best. I know that they're tough people.
Okay, Royston, I know the Bahamas is made up of a lot of islands in a chain. What is the general feel like from the others in the south that are just looking on?
It's completely heart-wrenching. Of course, we've been through this before. September 2017, Hurricane Irma devastated Ragged Island. And to date, 2 years later, those residents there have not recovered. It's a very difficult situation and almost surreal. We've not seen this sort of storm with this magnitude impact islands in this way before, at least not for a very long time. It really pulls at the heartstrings. The stories we're hearing coming out of those islands so far, with people stuck in attics, children who needed to be rescued and exposed to the elements with their roofs ripped off their homes, it really pulls at you. We're doing our best to stay strong. This is the time of unity. The Prime Minister has made the clarion call for us all to come together. The community here locally is listening to that call. The international community is listening to that call. There have been pledges from other states and jurisdictions of financial aid. We're mobilizing as best we can to get aid to those residents as soon as possible. Once the all clear is given, this is the time of a unity and moving together as one, so we can help those people as best we can from all aspects.
The Bahamian Prime Minister Hubert Minnis said the CARICOM chairman Alan Chastanet has indicated that nations are mobilizing assistance to help the stricken islands.
He assured me that he has met or had discussion with the CARICOM community, and the CARICOM community are putting funds together, including Dominica, putting funds together so that the monies can be dispatched to the relevant agency of the Bahamas so that it can be utilized to assist the Bahamian population.
The Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, says building codes in the region need to be revised in wake of extreme weather events. Minister of State for Grand Bahama Kwasi Thompson on Monday said several shelters in Grand Bahama had been compromised due to heavy rains. Ronald Jackson, head of CDEMA, has said some of the houses occupied by low-income residents and undocumented immigrants are not compliant with Bahamas' strict building standards. He admitted that there are already good building standards in the Caribbean, but said these standards need to be applied and enforced. But he also suggested that there be some revision of the codes in relation to changing climate conditions. In sports, former national striker Paul "TEGAT" Davis has replaced Donovan Duckie as head coach of Mount Pleasant Football Club. The 57-year-old Davis will have his second stint with the St. Anne-based club, having led the team to promotion to the Red Stripe Premier League in 2018. Just 24 hours prior, Mount Pleasant relieved Duckie of the head coach role via a letter from club chairman Peter Gold, who thanked Duckie for his services and wished him well on his future endeavors. In the meantime, Davis is expected to continue to work in the backroom staff at Mount Pleasant, which includes assistant coach Nigel Stewart and Alfred Barnett, as well as goalkeeper coach Lugsley Reed. In the weather report, at 4 a.m., the center of Hurricane Dorian was located near latitude 29.2 degrees north, longitude 79.5 degrees west. Dorian is moving toward the north-northwest near 13 kilometers per hour. Hurricane Dorian will move dangerously close to the Florida east coast and the Georgia coast through tonight. The center of Dorian is forecast to move near or over the coast of South Carolina and North Carolina Thursday through Friday morning. Maximum sustained winds are near 165 kilometers per hour with higher gusts. Some weakening is expected during the next couple of days, and Dorian is expected to remain a powerful hurricane during the next few days. Meanwhile, at 4 a.m., the center of Tropical Storm Fernand was located near latitude 23.1 degrees north, longitude 96.8 degrees west. Fernand is moving toward the west near 9 kilometers per hour. A motion toward the west or west-northwest is expected today, and the center of Fernand is forecast to cross the northeastern coast of Mexico later today or tonight. Maximum sustained winds are near 85 kilometers per hour with higher gusts. Some slight increase in intensity is possible before landfall. Once inland, rapid weakening is expected, and Fernand should dissipate on Thursday. That's the news on PBCJ. Thank you so much for watching.